What's going on there, YouTubers, gamers and hobbyists? Welcome to another episode of Q&S, the question and subscriber show, where I ask the questions and you, my subscribers of Mini Warzone who swim in a sea of awesomeness, answer the question I put to you. And last time, which was about 3 weeks ago, I believe, I was asking if you ever bought into a gaming system that you wished you hadn't. You know, what was it, or did you change your mind, that kind of thing, or what was it that changed your mind? Anyway, I can honestly not remember what was written. I just went to it, printed off the questions, and here we go. So we'll start with Rab Mac. He says, "Sorry you're not feeling well, pal, and if you fancy a game or chat in Plymouth, give me a shout. I'm not that far from you, pal." I said, "Cheers, yeah, perhaps we can make a meet up at some point. Sounds like fun." Yeah, that sounds cool to me. Rab Mac, we can do that. Idic Beer says, "Hope you feel better soon." Yes, I was much better than I was when I recorded that episode, I can tell you. Says, "Hope you feel better soon. That's one advantage of being strict on myself and only doing 40k, is that I don't have any regrets with other systems. Of course, Attack Wing is an exception to that, but I knew I would love that anyway." Yeah, I wish I had that discipline, that self-discipline to stick to 1 or 2 max gaming systems. It's hard though. I don't even like feeling it's hard. I mean, I truly admire that about people that are kind of purists in that sense. But don't you find it hard, Nick, sometimes to stick to that? Aren't you ever tempted? Not at all, not slightly. So I'm just frothing at the mouth sometimes. Like, I want to get into that game. I want to get into that game. I find it difficult. Anyway, Ralph Astley, bit of a long one here. It says, "Get well soon, Pete. The game I regret getting into the most is Dystopian Wars. It's interesting that someone else has said Firestorm Armada. Oh, we'll get to that soon. As they are both games from Spartan Games. I loved the fluff for Dystopian Wars, but then found I had issues with some of the rules. In particular, there were some models called Tiny Flyers that were basically just sculpted tokens that didn't come up to the standards of the rest of the models, and the rules around them were mega complicated and bogged the game down. A revision to the rules came out rapidly to address some of this, but that in itself annoys me, as I don't think a game should be released on the assumption that the purchasers are going to play test it for you, especially if the models are expensive." And I agree with that. I've heard that Spartan Games have a reputation for this practice. I wouldn't get rid of the models, I have, but I learnt my lesson from it and now concentrate on games where there are no specific range of models required, or where the models can be used for a variety of rule systems. In general, this means that there is a historical theme to much that I play. If you take the example of bolt action that you have abandoned, and I know you were shaking your head at me for that, I would never surrender the figures because they can be used for any set of World War II rules, and I would hang on to the rules because you never know when the opportunity to take part in a social event might arise, such as the tournaments that used to happen in the Giant's Lair in Plymouth. So I would say, never get into a game that is going to take you down a one-way street where you can't switch models or rules, gaming venues and opponents. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that, but I just literally needed the funds to fund my games I do play. So that was one way of doing it. So I picked a game I hadn't played in an awful long time, and was just looking, every time I looked at the models or the rules, I was thinking, God, do you know what, they're just taking up space and it's dead cash I could be using on other stuff. That was my mindset. So yeah. But yeah, I like what you do, Ralph, with you got the figures that you can use with any rule set. I love that. You've got like loads of historical stuff, haven't you? So you could use those for whatever rule set you want. Or like today you'll play this set of rules by this company. Another day you can play the same figures with a different set of rules, and that's great, you know. I suppose that could come from maybe like years or a lifetime of collecting, but I don't have that yet. I think it will come later on. Possibly. The whole World War II thing, though, I have abandoned that as a period of historical gaming. Because to me, bolt action, it got to people were playing bigger and bigger games. It was never designed to be played on a massive scale. I don't think it was more of a skirmish game intentionally, and people just started trying to turn it into World War II 40k, and that doesn't work for me. Right. Peter Higgins is next. He says, "Hope you get better soon. Thank you. The one specific game I regret buying into is Firestorm Armada." This is what Ralph's talking about. "I bought and painted a fleet only to find I didn't really like how the game played, although I haven't played the new rules. There are also a few Kickstarters I've bought into that I kind of regret buying, only because of the flood of minis that came in and the sheer volume that was added to my hobby backlog. I tend to focus on what minis I need for upcoming games, Age of Sigmar and Malifaux recently, followed by something different for a break." Oh, sorry, I didn't click on your read more bit, so I'll try and focus on that instead. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, I that's a good thing, which is what I was trying to do with by selling my bolt action. I wasn't using it, but I wanted to concentrate on what I do use and play, and use the funds for that, and that just seemed like a good way of doing it. So perhaps you can always sell your stuff. I mean, eBay is such an easy medium to sell stuff. Even with postage, it's pretty easy. But yeah, I think you're right. You do need something for a break. It gives you a break on what you're doing. Like I got the jugular there now. Oh, I just got myself another figure for that to add to it. By the way, obviously it's one of the ones I have because I have them all. But I'm going to mix it up with the variations, different heads and all that kind of thing. Kickstarters, I've never done a Kickstarter, so I've always been intrigued by it though. Wonder what the percentage is of people that are happy as to those that are unhappy. Jamjar34 says, "Get well soon, mate. Thank you. If you fancy a chinwag, message me on Facebook anytime, bud. Thank you very much. You never know, I may just drop the odd message here and there." The answer to the question is no, but at the moment I have to be sensible with the games I have now. There is probably 3 more games I want and would like to own, then think that's me done. I'll buy models to paint and sell to help fund it. Take care, mate. Yeah, and that's, it's a way of doing it. Not a fast way, but it's a way. And you get to paint the models as well. I say it's not fast because you've got to paint the models first, and that can take a while. But once it's done, it's as long as you're disciplined to keep the funds aside, that's all to your advantage, I feel. The Lone Ranger says, "Dreadfleet. I've heard of Dreadfleet. Who hasn't? Because it wasn't supported and felt like a waste of money. Plus War Master. I don't know that one. An old one. Didn't like because of the size, 6mm, but the price was right at the time, and my mates are into it, so I felt like I couldn't say no. I'm lucky now that I don't have much money, so prioritising is a lot easier." Isn't that funny how that happens? Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I've heard of Dreadfleet, but I've not heard of Warmaster. Excuse me, yawn coming on. I thought I might get through a whole video without yawning. Excuse me, sorry, that's just me. Yeah, so Dreadfleet, because it wasn't supported. I think it's nothing worse when you buy into not just games, anything that's not supported, and you think, oh, what a waste. But yeah, you're right. Prioritising is easier when you've got less funds. Yes, you know as well as I do. Finally, Tattoo for You says, "Hope you feel better, buddy." Cheers now. "I don't think I've ever really regretted the system so much that I would quit it altogether. Malifaux, I think, is a good example. I just haven't had the desire to finish painting them right now. I still want to play, but it's just become a stagnant system for me at the moment. I might be getting a renewed interest thanks to Spider666 starting to play it. And isn't that funny? You mentioned like another channel doing something that can pique your interest. I've heard this many times before, with many different games or systems, or even just figures. Someone else doing like you with your you doing like the Hulk and like, all that kind of thing. That made me think, oh, I wouldn't mind painting the Hulk. You know, it was really cool. You know, stuff like that. You see other people doing stuff, and you think, oh, I wouldn't mind having a go at that. Yeah, you know, and that brings me on to my question, I suppose, in a thinly linked way, which is, what is it about YouTube channels that you like? What is it about them that drew you to them, and how did you find them? Was it word of mouth? Was it recommendations, you know, or was it just simply browsing and you happened upon it yourself? Let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So what is it about the YouTube channels you like, that you like? What is it about them? Is it their personality, their content, their production values, whatever, their regularity? I nearly didn't get that out. Of content, and how did you hear about them? Till next time, remember, all precious need to war. See you next one. Bye for now.